Hi, I'm Laura, and this is tropetrinitytrilogy. I've been stranded on the Western Front for several months now, and today I'll be doing the AuthorTube in the trenches tag. Oh shoot! This tag was created by Strip Cover Lit. Now, I can't link the original video below because I checked their channel and it's gone for some reason. So I will link their entire channel below, and if for some reason the video gets back up, I will link that too. But they've got a really awesome channel and they give great fiction analysis videos, so I definitely recommend them. Now you might be wondering how a woman of the 21st century ended up in the trenches of World War I. Well, to give you the long story short, today I'll be doing an interview with my main character, Sonia Ophelia Sicarius. You see this device, it lets me travel through space and time. And without it, it would be impossible to travel from where I'm from to here. And I know for a fact you do not have this device, so therefore you cannot be from where I'm from. I own one too. You do not. This is one of a kind. I invented it. Wow, you must be really smart. Lady, we have to save him. Stay here. Hey, this cannibal scum! Let's see exactly where you're from.
3 days later.
Come on, baby. Yes, it works. This is so great. Now I just need to get back to my dimension. Dimension and time period. So I know how to get the transporter to go to the right dimension, but the time is going to be a bit iffy. So let's hope this works because it's made of conveniently found technology materials in the Roman Empire, because obviously the supplies I need would be here, but suspension of disbelief. This is AuthorTube, you should be used to that. Anyway, come on, work, and yes, it worked. Now where the heck am I? The star stand for... Oh! This is an army recruiting base, isn't it? Are you a woman wearing pants? Yes, I am actually a man. Then, soldier, why are you here when there are brave men dying on the front in the trenches? Yeah. Don't mind me. No, give me this. No. What do you think? This is a game? What the heck is this? No. If you want it, you have to go through the trenches like every other brave young man. Now go get a gun and go to the trenches. Actually, I already have one. I already actually signed up. I just had to use the bathroom in general direction. Okay. Go, soldier. No, wait, that's unnecessary. Oh, please, please don't go. He's on the plane now. Where are you going? You're going all the way to the other end? Why? How can you just fly there like that? Oh my gosh, why is no one shooting? Why can't I take the plane? Oh, great. Oh, now he's landing. Just fine. You want this thing, you're gonna have to fight your way to the other end of the front. Why can I still see you? Can you hear me? Actually, I'm not a man, if that makes a difference, so no. You're gonna have to fight this war like every other man in the country. Well, I guess I'm going in the trenches. Wish me luck. Yeah, so now have to travel across the Western Front to get back to the future. To keep myself from going mad, I've been writing letters to my sweetheart. And you might be wondering, who is my sweetheart? And well, that goes to question number 1 of this tag. 1. Do you have a sweetheart novel / short story / poetry project? A project that turned you into a serious writer? Oh, do I have a sweetheart? She is the one who trapped me here. Well, the protagonist, that is. And I might as well tell you a little bit about her. This story is Sicaria's Saga. I thought of it when I was in high school, and it's changed quite a bit. Originally, it was a made-up medieval-esque kingdom. Now it's an alternate version of the Roman Empire. This story has changed tons, but Sonia, the protagonist, has remained this protagonist from the very beginning. Now she's changed and grown into a better protagonist, more flaws and attributes. The flaws are probably why I'm trapped here now. But yeah, Sicaria's Saga is my end-all be-all story. And part of the reason why I'm not writing it right now is because I don't know if I can do it justice. And it's really important to me that it turns out well and that I write the whole series. I don't want to publish the first book and then be told no for the rest, because this story is really important to me. And it's very hard with all the mythology and the plot and story, and so I've taken a break from it, but I do hope one day to finish it. And yeah, so Sicaria's Saga, or Protectors of Rome, whatever it's called right now, that is my sweetheart story. And part of the reason it's my sweetheart is because I've had it for so long. But another part, I think, is that the themes that Sonia and the growth Sonia goes through of having to choose between different groups when she doesn't quite fit either of them exactly resonates with me and probably a lot of people. Personally, I believe no two people think exactly the same. And when I feel like in a world where we are expected to pick one or the other and always go with that side once we pick it, I think the story has a good message with that. But it's also not a happy story where it's just like, yeah, everything ends up perfectly. There's tons of struggles for Sonia, and I don't know how the overall series is going to end. Like, I have an idea, but I know it's going to be bittersweet. It's not going to be everything works out and being yourself saves the day. It's a bit more complex like that than that, but I think it does have some good messages in it. And I really like this story, and I hope when I finally get it out in the world that you like it too. 2. Do you ever plan to work on a series-length project? So most of my ideas are actually series. In fact, the Sicaria's Saga story I just talked about is a series. However, one thing I realized is series are harder. Oh no, my gun is falling apart. What just fell off of it? Field fixing. That's less ammo I have to defend myself. But yeah, the series, most of my ideas are series, but I'm currently trying to work more on standalone ideas. I don't have as many standalone ideas, actually most of them are too big to fit, but standalones are easier. But my main thing is I want to try traditional publishing first, and I'm not sure if I trust them to give them a series of mine only for them to say, hey, you don't get the rest. So I'm writing a standalone partially because it's easier and I want to feel complete with the next story I wrote. I had an idea for one, but also I want to wait a bit to give them a series, or maybe just self-publish my whole series so I get the whole thing. So that's what I have to say about for now. 3. Thoughts on mixed form projects. Short stories that contain poems, novels that contain short stories, etc. Sorry I ran off on you there. I think mixed form projects are really cool. In fact, I would love to read more of them. So if you have any recommendations, leave them below. But I just love how stories can play with the art of writing. You know, like, I love a good straightforward story. Don't get me wrong. Every story doesn't have to be mixed form. But there's something cool about actually experimenting with the craft of writing. Because a lot of stories, I feel like, are more of just writing is a tool for the story as opposed to part of the art. Like, it could just as easily be other form, and maybe some other authors actually write the novel hoping it'll be a movie because a movie is the end-all be-all goal. But I really think that I would love to see more stories that explore the actual things that can be done with the art of writing, inserting poems or short stories, riddles and all that stuff. I think that it's really cool and I would love to see more of that. And personally, I hope to put that in some of my writing. Sicarius Saga, the second book in the series, experiments with form a bit, which I hope turns out well. But yeah, so I'm excited to experiment with my own writing, and yeah, I think mixed form is awesome. 4. Where do you picture publishing in 10 years? In 10 years, I don't know. I see publishing having more self-publishing, with more people doing that themselves. Falling down the trench. I see more people self-publishing and being seen as more viable, because so many lists I see where it's like proof that self-publishing is reliable are examples of when self-publishing got picked up by traditional publishing. However, I also see a lot more people self-publishing books that aren't necessarily the best, and I also see traditional publishing going down the road of publishing books by people who are famous for something other than writing, which I don't even think is entirely bad. I feel like Again But Better is a good example. You know, having a YouTube channel is hard, and that's hard work, and she did write her book. I saw so many of her writing videos, and she did work hard, but the truth is I don't see the book being as good as some other books. But the thing is also, a lot of the quality I feel like has gone downhill with traditional publishing in general. But I do feel like there's going to be a lot of, you have to be famous on Twitter or have so many followers before you get picked up, and I do see that as a thing. However, I do still believe that books written by people without a large following that are high quality will still get picked up. But the truth is, publishing is so much luck already that it's hard to know who's who, you know what I mean? So I see it being a bit more of a popularity contest. I see self-publishing becoming both having more successful people and being seen as better, but also having a lot more people who publish because they feel pressured to publish right away. Not that they're bad, but they just rush it, because I've seen quite a few people who publish books and then take them down. They were like, I'm not ready, which admitting it is perfectly, I think, is like good. Like, admitting it is like brave, and honesty is the best. I feel like there's this thing that a lot of people are starting to publish before they're ready, and I'm trying. That's why I'm not rushing to publish. I'm 21. I'm going to take my time. I want the book that I publish to be something I'm proud of, and I don't want to rush it. 5. If you could have one booktuber review your work, who would it be? You know, the truth is, like, really popular booktubers would be better for people picking up my book. I at least felt like at one point, and Poland Banana Books was my favorite, and I still really enjoy her. But after how I reviewed her book, that probably would be a bad idea. But also, one thing I noticed is it almost seems to a point that some of the bigger booktubers, their book reviews aren't as popular, and I'm wondering if people actually pick up the books that they talk about. So instead of picking what would be best for marketing, I would pick someone whose reviews I really respect and think are thoughtful. And 3 people immediately come to mind. Strip Covered Lit is one of them, though I feel like they would tear my book apart, and they're pretty harsh, so maybe not. And then I also really like Julian Greystoke. Her reviews are so thoughtful. She was one of the first booktubers who I was like, this is what I want in a review. These reviews are great. And she did this tag too, so I'll link her below. Also, I think probably the best one for me would be A.S. Howell, because she is really thoughtful with her reviews. I feel like she would probably enjoy my book more than Strip Cover Lit. I feel like Julian Greystoke and S. Howell are better bet than Strip Cover Lit for actually liking my book. But I think all 3 of them, if they reviewed it, it would be a great review, even if they say they don't like the book. 6. Writers' quarrels are things of legend. What author alive today would you want to spat? Ooh, take a break since it's night already. Dang, time went by fast. But the truth is, I kind of want to get along with everyone. I don't necessarily want a rival, but I know, even though I've given authors' books negative reviews, so it seems like I'm kind of like, might be the type to want to cause issues. But the truth is, I started this channel partially for Booktube, not just to be a writer, but I wanted to give honest, in-depth book reviews that I hadn't been seeing at the time. And of course, I feel a little bit weird about my older book reviews. I don't think I was that analytical, and I was kind of just saying what I think was a good thing to say. But now my book reviews are very thoughtful and a lot more like into analytical. And it wasn't because I was faking before, it's just because I didn't understand what it took to give a good in-depth book review. It's actually pretty hard. And I'm pretty proud of how mine are now. So But the truth is, I don't really want a rival. Now, the easy answer would be J.K. Rowling because her Twitter is annoying. But I'm going to go for someone different, less obvious, and that would be the screenwriters for Captain Marvel, which I guess isn't obvious, is pretty obvious because a lot of people, that movie has a lot of opinions. But my issue with that movie is I thought her character was meh. I didn't feel any really strong connections to her, and I thought her reaction to finding out that she had literally been assisting in genocide to be very lax. Like, she didn't even say sorry to the dude. But my biggest issues is there are continuity errors within the Marvel universe, and I really love Marvel, and it's a lot of work combining all those movies without any plot holes, and they did good. But then they had her appear, but the whole movie is a plot hole, because in the first Avengers they say Thor was the first alien, or at least superpowered alien they'd seen on Earth, which in Captain Marvel makes it clear it's not true. And Nick Fury was the one who said that, and I guess he could have lied, but it didn't feel like a clever, oh, he lied to them. It felt more like a, they didn't think about it. And I also didn't like how Nick Fury's character was written and how he lost his eye. He's in Winter Soldier, he said, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And then Captain Marvel, spoiler, it was a cat. And his character felt like a buddy cop. Like, he felt more like Coulson than Nick Fury. And Nick Fury, I had always imagined having like a spy, more spy, cool past where he went to different countries and killed people. Like, he had red on his ledger, like Black Widow. But then in this one, he was like buddy cop, and I just didn't like what they did with his character. I didn't like the plot holes within the series, and whoever wrote that movie, did you see the other movies? Like, those plot holes are so frustrating, and her character, like, she assisted in genocide and didn't even say sorry to the dude who, like, it was so. And I really love stories that do the hero who worked for the bad guy without knowing things, or because my brainwashing. And the Marvel movies did that so much with so many characters. Black Widow has that in her backstory. Bucky has that. Gamora and Nebula both have that. Even Hawkeye has that to an extent. And I felt like she cared the least. And in a series that took that type of plot line so seriously and did so well, it was kind of disappointing because I love that type of story. And it lacked the emotional impact that type of trope usually has for me. And it was kind of like, who wrote this? Because you had everything going for you. It was within Marvel. And also my thing is, J.K. Rowling, her Fantastic Beasts movies are a mess, but she created the world of Harry Potter. So even if she messes up to the fullest extent, we wouldn't have that world without her. So there's a different level of error I will allow, whereas, like, because she outranks the fans. J.K. Rowling created the world, whereas with the Marvel movies or anything like that, the people who write those movies or direct those movies, they aren't the creators, they're just the fan that got picked to make the next canon story. The screenwriters for Captain Marvel didn't create Captain Marvel's character, they didn't create the Marvel comics or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they just got picked for one movie. So I'm a bit harsher with error because they don't outrank the fans as much. If J.K. Rowling wants to do something that the fans don't like or completely changing the character, that's one thing. But when you take someone else's story, when you take Stan Lee's story or someone else's, you have to stay true to the core of the original creator and the fans. Whereas if I wrote a series, I want to take a bizarre direction, that's my story. They wouldn't get it without me. So I feel like there's more leeway. But if a friend of mine for some reason can't finish their series and I have to finish it, I owe it to them and to the people they created this story for to give them something fulfilling. Does that make sense? So yeah, I wasn't particularly happy with Captain Marvel's plot holes, and her character wasn't the best, and Nick Fury, I didn't like how he went. So that's my rivalry. If you like the movie, that's perfectly fine, but that's just my opinion. 7. Have you ever been part of a writer's group? So I have been part of a couple of writers groups. In middle school, I was in the poetry club, which was super fun. And it was only there for my 6th year and 7th year. In 8th grade, I didn't get to do it, which was so tragic. Then in college, I was in Ampersand Creative Writing Club, which again was there my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. But then senior year, it kind of flopped. people weren't participating enough, and I wasn't there my spring semester junior year. And when I came back, it was just gone, which was again kind of disappointing. And then also I feel like AuthorTube is a bit of a writer's group, you know what I mean? Just going on to Barbed Wire casually. And even though it's less focused on writing and more in the video, but yeah, sort of AuthorTube, and my cousin and sister both write a bit, mostly my cousin. So those are kind of impromptu writer groups, but I've never been in an official one outside of a school setting, and I would love to. So that's something I should work on. I'm combining 8, do you have a favorite writer craft book? And 9, do you have a least favorite writer's craft book? But to answer both 7 and 8, I haven't really read that many craft books. I haven't read any but the one on my channel all the way through. So that's the only one I can really remember. So I don't really have a favorite or a least favorite.
The next morning.
I made it! Now let's get back to 2019. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Come on, baby. Yes! Yes! Okay. 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 Gonna go back in 3, 2, 1. Phew! Finally made it back. Now I have to have some words with Sonia. Where's my bookshelf? Why is there a curtain here that's poorly hung up? Sonia, what are you doing here?
Bonjour, Laura.
You trapped me there.
What are you doing here?
You trapped me in the past. I had to create a new dimension travel device and go and ended up in World War I trenches. And have you been wearing the same exact clothing for the months that you've been here? Well, as you can see, I speak French now, and I have a palav. You can wear different outfits. You're not in the Roman Empire. Okay, whatever. You know, I think I ought to be going. So, for question 10, I need to tag people. I don't really have time to tag every single person, so I'm going to tag 2 people who I think have very interesting opinions about writing and publishing in itself, and I am interested in their answer for those specific questions. And so those people that I am tagging are going to be Savvy and the Adorable Author, because I'm really interested in what they think about the future of publishing. Anyway, so Sonia is gone, and now I have to go find her again. So first I'm gonna get a drink now that I'm finally home. So I'll see you later.